I am Alan, and I am 25 years old. My boss is 32 and a very successful woman. However, she is not a good person. Since I was promoted by the Board of Governors to second in command, she has done everything in her power to make my life miserable. I think it's because I don't agree with any of her plans. But the reason the board voted for a second in command was because she kept going over budget, and they hired me to put a stop to that. This irritated her, and she was doing everything she could to drive me out of the company. But I'm very stubborn, and I wasn't going to let myself be forced out so easily. It happened often, but during our last company meeting, where we were discussing funding for various projects, she started to try and berate me in front of everyone. I had just joined the meeting and was writing down notes and double-checking the numbers that she was suggesting using to establish budgets for the next projects. When she turned towards me with a scowl on her face.
Alan, are you even listening? We have so much work to do and you're not even taking this seriously. Please pay attention. I'm embarrassed to have you on my team if this is how you're going to behave.
I just got here and I haven't done anything. The only person you're embarrassing is yourself.
How dare you speak to me like that in front of everyone? If you talk back to me one more time, I'll make you regret ever coming to work here.
I knew she wasn't joking, and I think everyone else did too. The mood shifted, and everyone quietened down. We all seemed to agree to unanimously stop participating in the meeting, and went silent. She of course noticed though, and just pretended to take it in stride, opting not to ask the table questions after the first two she asked went unanswered. It felt good to see that other people had seen through her attempt to make me look bad and had decided to not let her get away with it. However, I could tell that this only made her more furious, and I knew that she would try to come up with a way to make me pay for her failed attempt to make me look bad. When the meeting disbanded, I tried to rush out and head back to my own office. It was safe there and completely surrounded by windows, so she couldn't do anything to me without a dozen witnesses. However, she caught me in the middle of the hallway though, putting herself between me and the exit. There was no way I was going to be able to escape. She wasn't very physically intimidating, but I suspected that she was probably going to threaten me with something. What she did next, though, caught me completely off guard. She began to tear at her clothes and mess up her hair until she looked like she'd been attacked on the street and then started screaming. I just stared, mouth open, in surprise. 3 security guards came, and I was dragged out of the office and into a police car. It all happened so fast that I didn't even know what was going on until I was meeting my lawyer in a private room while I was in handcuffs. You need to tell me the truth so I know how to work with it. Did you attack your boss? No, I would never. Are you sure? Can you walk me through what happened? She just started to scream and pull at her clothes and hair. She had threatened me in the meeting, and because no one else sided with her, she chose to find a different way to get me into trouble. This is just her getting revenge. Okay, I believe you, but in this case, we must tread carefully. At this point, it's really just your word against hers, and I'm worried that people will take her side. Then what are we to do? Play her game and win. I didn't know what he meant, but he smiled darkly, and I felt that he had come up with something that could very well save my career and possibly freedom. He told me that I was free to return to work, and that if I could help it, I should avoid ever being alone with her. Furthermore, he was going to acquire a discreet body camera that I could hide on my body. It was so discreet that no one would notice that I had it on, although I needed to record my entire workday regardless of what happened. I took this to heart, and even had a coworker set up 2 phones so that they were on FaceTime the entire time I was at work. For some time, she didn't try anything, but she did start turning people against me. People began avoiding me in the hallways and ignoring me during meetings. This seemed to make my boss happy. This awkward situation was beginning to weigh heavily on me when one of my coworkers, a girl in her early 20s, handed me a cup of coffee.
It's not that I think you did anything. It's that, at the end of the day, no one really knows what happened. As women, we have to support the victims. I'm sorry, Alan, but there are many more women out there who aren't lying, and by supporting everyone, we're ensuring that those who are genuine victims feel safe enough to come forward.
What she was saying made sense. It was something I felt like my boss was using to her advantage. And still, there was a case being built up against me. If she won, I would be placed on a list and have a hard time finding another job. I'd worked hard to get to where I was today, and she was doing everything in her power to take that away from me. Every Friday we had a meeting scheduled 2 hours before the end of day, and it wasn't until 30 minutes before the meeting started that I found out that I had been barred from attending. And so I went to my boss to find out why. Listen, I don't know why you excluded me from the meeting, but as the second in charge, I need to be included.
I don't want you anywhere near me.
Not to worry. I can join through a video call.
No.
I don't see why not. I don't need to be in the room to join the meeting. You can disagree with me all you want, but I don't see a reason that I can't join through a video link, and we can continue as usual. I went back to my office and turned on my video call, but she never picked up. I knew that she was doing whatever she could to ensure I wasn't involved in the call, but she hadn't counted on me having friends that had no loyalty to her. I was still on FaceTime with one of my coworkers as well as having my body cam active. My friend in the meeting covertly accepted my call and then propped his phone so that I could record what was happening in the room through FaceTime.
As you know, things have been a little tense around here recently, what with the violent attack. So, I would like to discuss changes around the office. First, we should install security cameras for the protection of everyone. Second, I want to...
Where will we get the budget for this? We've gone over the budget for this year already.
We will have to drop a position, but don't you worry. All of your jobs are safe. In fact, I will pick up any slack lost by the removal of this position, but rest assured it will not be too much extra work.
She looked around the room like she was making a huge joke and was expecting everyone to laugh, but no one did. They were too concerned about what she was talking about. I'm afraid I'd have to sign off on that, boss, and since I don't doubt that it's my position you're attempting to remove, I have to vote against it.
Alan, you're not supposed to be in this meeting.
And you're not supposed to be trying to get me fired. I could see how furious she was, and there was no telling what she would do, or how far she would go to get her way. I'm guessing that seeing me included in this meeting is a bit of a shock to you. Perhaps you would like to explain to the Board of Governors the silly games that you've been playing.
I'm not playing silly games, Alan. I'm merely trying to remove a toxic element from the company.
Well, I certainly don't think that I'm about to lose my job. After all, I'm certain that I can get proof that you lied about me attacking you.
Oh yeah, you think you'll get to keep your job, do you? And I do have proof. Everyone saw my torn clothing.
You know I didn't attack you, and I know that you feel threatened by me, and that you treat me as if I took your power, and that you want all the power back. I can see through these childish games that you're playing, and unfortunately for you, they aren't going to work out the way that you want them to. Because at the end of the day, I'll still be here blocking your attempts to overspend the company's money.
Meeting dismissed.
I watched as everyone filed out of the room before I logged off the video call, and then went and walked into the meeting room. It was obvious that everyone was quite uncomfortable watching the two of us speak to each other the way that we were. Once the room was empty, with only the two of us, she turned on me and pointed her finger into my chest.
You're trying to ruin my life.
That's the opposite of what's happening here. It wasn't my choice to start this. You're doing everything in your power to get me fired, but you didn't quite get it right, did you? Why on earth did you think framing me for attacking you was a good idea? You know it only makes women who actually are attacked seem less credible. What you're doing is evil.
Yeah, that might be the case, but it's working. And if I have to frame you in order to get rid of you, then that's just what I'm going to do.
What? You can't be serious? She threw herself at me again, and I raised my hands to defend myself and hold her wrists away from hitting me. However, she was far too angry and managed to hit me a few times before she started to scream out.
Stop hurting me! Let me go! Help! Help! Hey, let me go!
The security guards came in, and she was restrained and pulled away from me.
Hey, let me go! He's trying to hurt me.
Sorry, ma'am, but that isn't what we saw happening. The look of shock on her face almost made the cuts and bruises on my face feel worth it. I later found out that once everyone else had left the meeting room, that my friend had begun broadcasting my body cam to everyone in the office. Everyone had seen her confession, including the Board of Governors. I had been vindicated. With this new evidence, my lawyer was able to have all the charges dropped against me. We then sued my boss for her wrongful accusations, and with the video that I had, I was awarded $15,000 for the damage that she had caused to my reputation. However, the best was yet to come. The Board of Governors had seen the way that she had behaved and how very close she had caused me to not only lose my job, but to also go to jail. And in turn, they fired her on the spot and then gave her position to me. Months later, I have changed the company for the better. Morale has never been higher, and we are not only meeting our goals for our projects, but doing so under budget. As for my former boss, well, she didn't take the loss of her job very well, and she now spends most of her days just sitting at home watching television. After losing her job, she was forced to move out of her penthouse apartment and then move in with her sister. The two of them live off of the money that her sister makes waiting on tables. As soon as I heard this, I felt sympathy for her, and I offered her a job back at our company, and with a great deal of reluctance, she accepted. I think it was mostly because both her and her sister were desperate for any additional source of income. Although, my offer wasn't for her old job. Oh no, the new position was in the mailroom. I know it's mean, but it makes me smile every time I pass the mailroom and see how miserable she is. Although she has no one else to blame but herself. Thanks for watching.